Hey there, everyone. I'm News 6 meteorologist Samara Kokinas, and I am joining you on this Saturday afternoon. It is cloudy. It is just kind of gloomy out there, very windy, and our weather is definitely going to change and get a little worse as we head into later tonight and, of course, the overnight hours. So I'm here to kind of walk you through everything. I know Saturday is one of those days that people like to be out and about. But I can tell you this Saturday is more like a day to be on the couch, just kind of hanging out if you have that opportunity. So if you do have to get on the road, I would say get everything you need done early or completed early. That way you're not out in the thick of a lot of this nasty weather that's going to be rolling through. So as we look here at the setup, we still have this area of low pressure situated over the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, it's going to continue to inch closer and closer to us. If it's moving kind of slowly though, so it's moving slowly to the north and east. With that being said, look at all of that rain. All of that is in the warm sector, okay? So we have this warm setup ahead of this particular system, and that is increasing the cloud cover, which we've been seeing since yesterday, but it's also increasing the rain, which some of you got some rain yesterday, some didn't. So let's zoom in and see exactly what we're working with this afternoon. As of 3:03 this afternoon, you can see a lot of light rain, all of the light green, maybe the darker green, just a little bit heavier, but still on the light side. But then notice near Brevard County going into Osceola and Orange County, you start to see hints of yellow and even some oranges. And you also see these, what we call skip markers, these little arrows here on on these particular areas in a thunderstorm. And basically, it's showing the direction as being north, so all of the rain is going to continue to move north. But when we start to see a few that are kind of catching our eye, they're a little bit stronger. We're not seeing severe levels yet, but in that one particular cell that is just outside Rockledge, about 22 minutes to the south, that one's packing some heavier rain, a little bit stronger winds. It's kind of starting to weaken a little bit now as of this latest update here on the radar. But we're going to see more and more skip markers because we're anticipating for the convection or the storminess ahead of this system to really pick up and get a lot of built up energy going. So when we talk about how all of this impacts us, we want to show you the severe risk for today. The thing about the severe risk, yesterday or last night, if you joined Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells on air, you would have seen areas, I would say, Brian, around Orlando and to the south in this yellow area. However, now the Storm Prediction Center has kind of extended that to incorporate the majority of Central Florida today. The only parts still in the marginal risk, so that's a level 1. Slight risk is a level 2. I'll explain more about that in a minute. Are the northwestern quadrant and the far western quadrant of Marion County. So that's in the marginal risk. When you look at the yellow, that's a slight risk. So it's expanded a bit, and it has a lot to do with the models kind of trying to come to a consensus as to where this particular extratropical type system is. It's not tropical. It's a cold core system is going to go, whether or not it's going to go farther to the north or if it's kind of lingering a little bit further to the south. So we've been talking about model comparisons. I know meteorologist Jonathan Kegas has been doing a lot of those comparisons as well with you, comparing exactly what that means for you and the difference between the two model runs and the timing. When we look at the particular hazards, what you can expect for today, I want you to be prepared because as the day goes on, what's going to happen is that the conditions are going to get worse. So after about 6 o'clock this evening, more and more widespread, heavier rain, and even the potential for some strong, maybe reaching severe thunderstorms are quite possible. The thing about it is our environment, we have a lot of wind shear. Okay, that gives us the ability to see a few spin-ups. So we cannot rule out an isolated tornado or two as we head into late tonight and overnight hours going into early Sunday morning. We can't rule out maybe some small hail, but the biggest impacts that the majority of Central Florida will feel will be the wind, the heavy rain, and maybe the lightning, okay? what we're dealing with is we're not dealing with this highly unstable atmosphere. We have plenty of wind shear, ample, to kind of get one of those one or two spin ups going. But without the instability or the fuel to really kind of get those going, it's going to take quite a bit of effort for these storms to get to really reach a lot of that heavy rotation and kind of reach that severe level. So when we're talking about as far as what to expect heading into tonight, I can't completely rule out a tornado or two developing. But again, that's going to be on the lower spectrum of the hazards of what to expect. Still, you need to make sure that you have your alerts on your News 6 weather app set to on. That way you can hear them in the event that you're in these overnight hours and you're sleeping and all of a sudden there's a warning for your area. Of course, we will be here. I know I will be here along with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas tonight, and the meteorologist Michelle Morgan will join us tomorrow morning. But the overall synopsis of this whole event is going to be big time rain headed our way. We're talking about widespread rain, which the majority of Central Florida is going to see, of about 2 to 4 inches, with isolated maximums up to 5 to 6 inches possible. So if you have an area that doesn't drain very well and it keeps getting that repeated heavy rain, which we're anticipating to really build, and I'm going to show you that coming up, you can expect to see a lot of these areas start to have some localized flooding. So that's another concern that we're having. I don't believe there hasn't been any flood watches issued yet, just because the majority of the area I think is going to be 2 to 4 inches versus a widespread area of seeing about 5 to 6. It's more isolated for you. Winds are going to be gusting, and they're going to remain elevated like they are right now. It's been windy for several days, but inland areas can expect your wind gusts 35 to 45 miles per hour. And I do believe during any type of severe thunderstorm that gets issued that moves through could have wind gusts up near 50 and 60 miles per hour. So just be prepared for that. Near the coast, though, really taking a beating out there. 35 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts as we head into this evening are anticipated rather. And I do believe, the coastal conditions have just already been kind of messy out there because of the heavy wind that we've had over the last couple of days. Those breaking waves are very large. We have a lot of water running up and causing some beach erosion, so that's quite likely. So it's advised to really stay away, but right from the beach. But right now, when we look at wind speeds, they range anywhere from about 7 miles per hour across our interior. We're talking about Ocala, Leesburg at around 9 miles per hour. Same thing with Orlando and Sanford. But then you look at the coastline, still highly elevated, between about 11 and 17 miles per hour, but the overall winds gusting are a bit stronger. So you look at those strong wind gusts, and if you're in Cocoa Beach, you're like, it's whipping out here. You're right, it is around 30 miles per hour. So you'll notice those stronger wind gusts come through from time to time. And as the night goes on and we see more thunderstorms turn more widespread, I do believe that a lot of us will continuously see elevated winds, and then you'll feel those gusts of wind in the overnight hours going into early tomorrow. So when we look at the potential wind gusts heading into tonight, you'll notice that along the coastline up near 50 miles per hour, while interior areas, so mainly west of I-95, are closer to around the 30 to almost 40 mile per hour mark. So, and again, with isolated thunderstorms that could turn severe, that could go up in terms of wind gusts, but they do remain one of the biggest impacts because these type of wind gusts can cause some damage. So if you haven't already done so, take any type of item like your inflatables for Christmas. Santa Claus, you don't want Santa Claus flying down the street. I know that would be like a pre-Christmas miracle for us, right? But we don't want your inflatables flying down the street. We don't want, lawn furniture flying into your neighbor's yard and causing additional damage. So hopefully you've already prepped and pulled those things in. If you haven't, go ahead and do those things now because as we head into the next couple of hours, this is just going to get a little dicey and a little more dicey as we head into the overnight hours. So looking at those wind gusts, they start to kind of slow down a little bit, but notice they remain elevated in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range, even as we head into Sunday afternoon. So even behind this system, once it makes its way offshore, it's still going to be a windy setup and turning rather breezy for the remainder of the week. So the wind isn't going anywhere. tie back the long hair. I didn't take mine down until I got in the building. So as we continue to go through it, you see the winds still gusting up near about 20, even 30 miles per hour. And that, I think, will last through about Monday afternoon before we see some gradual improvement. Wave heights. If you have been out to the beach or if you've seen the camera views, you say, man, those waves are crashing hard. It's just kind of a nasty day to be out there. But wave heights are ranging anywhere between 8 to 10 feet right now. And as the night goes on, they could even get higher than that. Here is a live view from our Daytona Toyota Deland Kia camera. You could see it. It's pretty nasty out there. The rain, the cloudy skies, and you see those waves really running up. It's not bad right now, but I can tell you during high tide, we're going to see a different scenario where you're going to see water running up all the way to the dunes. And as this system gets closer, it's just going to be really nasty out there. So just, beach officials are saying, stay away. It's highly recommended for you to stay away from the coastline. I can't imagine anybody wanting to go out there anyway. But there's a wind advisory, and it's also incorporating now, as I look at it here, through 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So Sunday morning at 4 a.m., we have Marion, Lake, Orange, Seminole, Volusia, Flagler, Osceola, and Brevard counties now all under the wind advisory. So the only county missing right now is Sumter and Polk. And as the night goes on, I do believe they could expand that wind advisory and incorporate Sumter as well as Polk County. But winds are gusting in excess of 45 miles per hour. So that's what I'm telling you. Just go ahead and bring all of those items in. We don't want you to have any additional damage to your home or to anybody else's property. High surf advisories are definitely in place. Seas are going, your surf, the breaking waves are going to average about 5 to 9 feet. So this is just a nasty setup. Coastal flood warning already in place with localized beach erosion definitely likely. The gale warning, it continues through early tomorrow morning. That east wind kicking at about 25 to 35 knots and building those seas up 11 to 17 feet. So you'll notice that the gale conditions do improve as the system moves to the north and east rather quickly heading into tomorrow. But ahead of that, it's just really not ideal. And even behind the system may not be gale type conditions out there on the waters, but it's definitely going to be rather on the rough side to do any boating. Now, notice your hourly rain coverage. You're saying, hey, it's just been a whole bunch of light rain. Is this what it's going to be like heading into tonight? No, it's definitely going to change. We're going to see more widespread coverage. Notice after 9 o'clock, the majority of Central Florida is seeing that soaking rain. So you'll notice that the intensity of the rain picks up. It may be more of like waves of rain that move through your area. You may say, hey, it's not as heavy as it was, but there might be another one kind of rolling in behind that. So just keep in mind that after about 5 o'clock this evening, I would definitely wrap up any plans that you may have out and about and stay at home, just because the rain it's going to be blinding rain out there on the roadway. We don't want you to be driving through that unnecessarily at all. All right, so clouds and rain. Here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for, right? We're going to time out the pockets of heavy rain. I showed you the radar just a little bit ago. You saw that we had a few little pockets of heavy rain near Brevard and Osceola, right? And little isolated ones in Orange and southeastern and eastern Orange County. Now, all of this rain is going to continue to move to the north, but notice as we head into this evening, we start to see more moderate pockets of rain. So that yellow and the oranges here on the map, they start to increase. But watch this. When I move the clock and we go to 8, some areas you may just be getting a light rain or drizzle like what we're looking at in Brevard County. But then there could be pockets where it gets really heavy. So we're talking about little pockets like that turning more widespread. So I know this is probably like, you're like, hey, this is just like another day, but watch this. As we go into the overnight hours, there's that bulk of that energy as that system continues to move closer and eventually on shore. The thing is, it's going to build up a lot of the potential to see more and more rain ahead of it, and the additional heavy rain and the potential for severe weather. So that's what we're going to be watching all night for you. Come 11 o'clock, I'll probably be pinpointing some very heavy rain, possibly a severe thunderstorm or two. Again, this is very conditional on the atmosphere that we have going on right now. We just don't have a ton of instability, but we have a lot of wind shear to work with. So we'll be watching for the potential to see that heavy rotation. Now, when we look ahead into the rest of your overnight, notice it starts to spread out a little bit more. So these storms will continue to move to the north. So expect increasing coverage of rain late tonight going into early tomorrow morning. Notice by about 2 o'clock in the morning, though, we're starting to see a little improvement from about Orlando back to the south and west. So including Kissimmee, St. Cloud, maybe southern Lake County like Claremont, Mineola, going back toward Leesburg a little bit, central Lake County, and then a little bit of clearing over central and southern Sumter. We're not completely done with the rain, though. Watch, as I put this back in motion, we go to 4 o'clock. I know it's looking even better, and that's because that system is just moving over just to our north, just a little bit to our north. So we're starting to see it push away a lot of that energy to the north and east. But that doesn't mean that all the rain is gone. We could still have a few residual showers left over, just like that, what I was showing you. So around 8 or 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, we could have a little bit of residual moisture left over. We could maybe have an isolated thunderstorm, but I don't believe that it would be anything massive or anything that we haven't seen before. I don't even think it'll be that strong. But given the model and the energy associated with this system, as it moves away, we're going to see better improvement in terms of more sunshine headed our way and some cooler weather too. But it looks like the majority of the rain will clear out around mid-morning, and gradual clearing will continue after that. Still going to be windy, okay? And it will be rather gusty. So conditions at the beach are not going to be great on Sunday afternoon. Don't think that. There still could be a little bit of light rain, but for the most part, I think those cloudy skies will continue to break apart, and then we will eventually see some sunshine and even more sunshine on Monday, okay? Rainfall. I know a lot of people have been calling me personally, asking me, hey, what are we looking at here? Are we looking at 10 inches? And I'm like, no, it's not that type of rain event. But what we are looking at is about 2 to 4 inches across most of central Florida. Notice by about 3 o'clock in the morning, as we head into Sunday, a lot of areas are anywhere between about 1.5 inches and up to 3.5 inches. Leesburg, I think, is one of those isolated areas that will get a few of those heavier rain makers that move over the area. So it could very well add up to that and stay right around between 2 and 4 inches as we head into early Sunday morning. We're talking 8 o'clock in the morning or so. But along the coast, there could be, notice that there's that highlighted purple area and that red. And no, a lot of the heaviest of the rain is going to be over some water. However, you get a few of those really heavy thunderstorms that roll through the area, just packing a lot of heavy rain, and those numbers along the coast could quickly change and go up in excess of 4 inches. So the coast, this is just an estimate. This is not saying this is going to happen for sure. This is just an estimate based on model guidance. So it is not absolute. We're saying, generally speaking, though, 2 to 4 inches and isolated maximums between 5 and 6 inches before this is all done. So let's break it down county by county, okay? Marion and Sumter, your wind gust range, 35 to 45 miles per hour. Rainfall anywhere between 2 and 4 inches, like I just showed you, and with an isolated threat for a tornado. Again, given the situation, we're not working with a lot of instability, but we still have that wind shear that we have to take into account. So if we get some thunderstorms going, we could very well see a few tornadoes pop up here throughout the overnight hours. Now, looking at Orange as well as Lake and Seminole County, wind gust range 35 to 45 miles per hour. Same in terms of rainfall, about 2 to 4 inches, with that isolated spin up quite possible. Osceola and Polk County, same range for the winds, but I do believe over our southern zones and a little bit, I'm talking about southern Polk going into southern Osceola and maybe eastern half of Osceola County, we could see those winds gusting in excess of 45 miles per hour. So closer to the coast, if you're closer to 95 in Osceola and definitely in Brevard County, you will have the potential to see stronger wind gusts than that. And of course, isolated thunderstorms could be packing some stronger wind gusts if they turn severe. 2 to 5 inches in terms of rainfall is what you can expect for Osceola and Polk. And again, an isolated tornado threat can't be ruled out. Here is the coastline, Flagler, Brevard, and Volusia County. I'm talking to you. Your wind gusts will range between 35 and 50 miles per hour, but they could exceed that. They could reach up to that 60 mile per hour mark in terms of wind gusts. Rainfall 2 to 5 inches. An isolated tornado, again, can't be ruled out. The coast, though, is definitely going to be dealing with that minor beach erosion, that local flooding there along the coastline, and of course the high rip current risk and all of the boating concerns that we do have for the next couple of days. So although there may not be gale conditions after tomorrow, there will still be hazardous waters to deal with. So I don't recommend anybody going out on the water. It is just not good. So it's a weather alert day today, tonight, and through early tomorrow morning. But notice your rain coverage goes from 100% overnight, or 90 to 100%. So the majority of Central Florida down to about 40% as that system pushes through. It's going to clear out behind it. We'll maybe have a few leftover showers, high temperature around 74. Then look at Monday. Beautiful, right? It's a lot of sunshine, still on the breezy side, even gusty. I would say maybe windy on Monday, turning breezy Tuesday through the rest of the week. Your high temperature right around the mid 60s, dropping to the 40s that night, and then back to the low 60s for Tuesday. It looks like the coolest night that we have here in Central Florida. So with that being said, I'm getting ready to wrap up this little update for you. I just wanted to keep you abreast of the situation. But as we start to see these conditions deteriorate, we do have a story on clickorlando.com. It's called Pin It. Share your photos, your videos as severe weather moves through Central Florida. We want you, of course, to always be safe doing this. If you are not in a safe area, please don't take a photo and post it. But if you are in a safe area and you're seeing maybe, a lot of extra water in your yard, be sure to pin it so we can see exactly what's happening in your neck of the woods compared to ours and compared to others. It gives us a good visual to show everyone, and of course, to show people that, hey, it's not just you experiencing it, it's other people as well. So for everyone joining us this afternoon, thank you so much. Don't forget to download the News 6 Pinpoint Weather app. It comes in super handy. We update it frequently. It'll bring alerts right to the palm of your hand. It'll wake you up in the middle of the night if you need it to, as long as you have your alerts set to on and the volume up, of course. And it also gives you the radar, which has a lot of layers to it. It's super handy. It shows you when there's warnings in place as well, or watches in place, and what's happening all around Central Florida. So it's right there in the palm of your hand. I use it, and not just because I work here. It's actually very user-friendly. So don't forget to download that app, and also to catch us on News 6 at 11. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 11 o'clock tonight, but of course, I will be here along with Jonathan Kegas, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas will join me later in the evening. So we'll be here to monitor all of the stormy weather as we head into the overnight hours, and of course to do our best to keep you guys safe. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and again, get everything done before 5 o'clock. That way you don't have to be on the road out past that when that really nasty weather starts to move in. Take it easy.